Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And today, guys, we have a lot of things to talk about because there's been a lot of information coming out from the SEC and around the SEC, especially with the Hinman documents, which confirm that Ethereum Gate was true. It's no longer a conspiracy theory, if you will. Which again, if you've been a part of the XRP community, you probably didn't think that it was a conspiracy theory anyways. But now we have something very interesting that has gotten a lot of spotlight put on it, which was Prometheum, which was an SEC approval. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, actually, in a video. And I even said I personally believe this was a buy plan approval to be utilized as an example towards all other companies / exchanges / you name it, maybe even Ripple. I also said, please note that Prometheum exclusively deals in securities. It's plastered all over their website, which I will talk to you guys a little bit about as well. But check this out. So this is from my video. This is actually a video of two individuals that are very bullish on Prometheum, one of them being the co-CEO and co-founder. And we do see in this regulatory climate, what does Prometheum approval as a special purpose broker-dealer really mean? And here's a quote, which we will hear in this video, that there is a path forward for crypto in the United States. I don't know if that is the case, because we already know that so many other companies have failed to get approval, and this is the only one. This is the first one to actually get approval. So all these other companies that came in, met with the SEC, tried to do things right, I guess all of them were doing things wrong all of a sudden, right? Because this company, this one company, this random company that specifically only deals in digital asset securities, keynote there, securities, got the approval. Interesting. Forward for... So let me skip ahead.
I just want to be very clear that I'm 100% bullish on the crypto space. I think there is a place for commodity tokens. I think there is a place for utility tokens and things that might not be securities. But I just think that we've got to figure this out quickly, or it's going to harm a lot of people. People like Coinbase, the leaders in this space, really need to sort of do the right thing. I think, and I think that they want to do the right thing. Maybe they're just taking it, going down the wrong path. I think if nothing else, at least we've shown that you can go get regulated to do something with digital assets and digital asset securities in the current regime. I mean, in the midst of literally what's going on with Wells notices and all of the sanctions and everything else that's going on, we were able to go and get these approvals. And ATSs are those are SEC registered. I mean, this is them literally looking at this application and saying, yeah, we're approving these guys to do trading in digital asset securities. So I think the argument that you can't do that is just not valid. Let's find a way to get compliant and get back to work.
Which means overall that there is a path forward for crypto in the United States.
So yeah, so there is your overall statement that there is a path forward here in the United States because Prometheum got the free pass, right? So did you ever wonder why? Well, it's very simple. Securities is plastered all over their website. We even do see it's all for digital asset securities, building the future of markets, centered around digital asset securities. Over here, SEC registered. Again, approved to operate an alternative trading system for digital asset securities, built for digital asset securities. I mean, it's literally plastered all over it. No wonder why this got approved, because again, they're going to utilize this as an example that they're dealing in digital asset securities, not currencies. Key note. That's why I made it a key thing here around securities. But also, if we go to Cowboy Crypto's tweet, which he's quoting Matt Walsh, which I'll get to here in a second, this entire tweet goes into connecting Prometheum all back to Bitcoin and Ethereum maximalists like even Vitalik Buterin himself, but also a key individual, which is Don Tapscott, which is a key Ethereum maxi. And here you guys have all of the connections. You have the investments. You also have Alex Tapscott, Fax, Chair Advisory Council for Prophecy DeFi. Prophecy acquired Layer 2 blockchain June 2021. Layer 2 focuses on the rapidly emerging Ethereum Layer 2 DeFi ecosystem. Managing Director at 9 Point Partners, who has a Bitcoin ETF. Over here, The same group of people have a strange affinity towards being Ethereum/Bitcoin fundamentalist, and there are members also a part of Tapscott's Muskoka group. Remember, the original Ethereum Foundation board had 3 of 5 members affiliated somehow with the UN. And here you have all of the connections. There's been so much information coming out around this. It's clear to me on why this got the free pass. But in Matt Walsh's tweets, there's a lot of them. So here we have the Prometheum storyline has got to be the strangest thing I've seen in a while in this industry. Has anyone actually looked into this? Beyond bizarre. Last month, in the midst of the SEC bringing cases on Coinbase plus Gemini and given the stiff arm to Robinhood and others, Prometheum gets approval for the first of its kind special purpose broker-dealer SPBD for digital asset securities. Then Prometheum's CEO somehow gets a seat in front of Congress yesterday and starts reading off pre-written notes, clearly coordinating narratives with Democratic members of Congress or the SEC. And here you guys have Scott Johnson. So he's posting a few videos around this. But we do see Prometheum CEO, whose sole credential is heading a special purpose ATS/BD for digital securities, sure seems to have a lot of opinions on unrelated topics like banking principles, stablecoins, or at least his pre-written notes, curiously responsive to every Dem question does. And here we have, I always prepare for unknown questions outside my area of competence with detailed language, coincidentally mirroring those same unknown questions. And here you guys have the actual video.
Of banking and commercial activity. The Republican-led stablecoin legislation we are discussing here today seems to fail to recognize this separation for stablecoin issuers. This would allow non-commercial businesses to own a stablecoin issuer. Can you explain the harm to both consumers and perhaps financial stability that could arise from failing to clearly define this separation?
Consolidation of consumer and banking activities can lead to conflicts of interest and potential systemic risk. Essentially, a lack of strong frameworks with properly regulatory oversight for the entities involved, particularly when they're commingling consumer and financial-based activities, presents additional levels of conflict and potential exposure to the underlying customers, either on the consumer side or
Thank you,
on the
Mr.
financial
Cabot. Gentlewoman's time has expired.
And yeah, I mean, if we look at what's happening around this, in my opinion, I believe that this is all part of the plan. And we even do see here, like, this exchange summed up the issue. Did the SEC's license for Prometheum create a registration path for crypto exchanges? Testimony from today's hearing. And here is a 3-minute long video. If you guys want to go listen to these, like, you guys are more than welcome to. All of this is by plan. And I do think that, you know, a lot of this is to be utilized as an example. I've been saying it so many times on this channel that a lot of what we are seeing, these events around crypto, even the collapses around crypto, all have been utilized as an example. This is it's mainly to help the SEC's argument around the space that we need regulations to regulate this space for securities, not currencies. And we do see here as well, as Rodrigo over on Twitter, RSSH273, points out, this ATS absolutely will not work unless the projects first register the tokens with the SEC. There are currently no tokens registered with the SEC because the current regime is not viable for public blockchain networks. And we do see founder of Prometheum is testifying financial committee hearing on digital assets today. He will argue he represents the compliant path for crypto, and those asking for updated regulations are just scofflaws. However, he is wrong on the law and his approach cannot work as advertised. I completely agree. And we do see first, what is Prometheum? They are a broker-dealer with no real operating history that recently obtained FINRA approval as an alternative trading system. Since their approval, they have described themselves as the only compliant alternative for crypto asset trading in an industry full of willful lawbreakers, e.g. the cringe interview on Unchained Pod that is rife with misstatements of law, which I agree. Prometheum says they will facilitate trading of any tokens that their internal compliance analysis determines are securities. They have even stated that they would allow trading of Ethereum, which they mistakenly argue is a security. While the testimony spends a lot of time or a lot of effort distancing Prometheum from its Chinese investors, it fails to mention a critical fact. An ATS cannot facilitate trading for any unregistered securities not offered under a valid exemption, which is exactly what the alleged tokens are. Therefore, Prometheum's ATS won't be able to trade any tokens unless projects first register the tokens with the SEC. And as we pointed out, there are effectively no tokens registered with the SEC because the current regime is not a viable option. Prometheum's ATS is a bicycle with no wheels. And again, he just kind of goes on to just argue this fact. I mean, like, listen, everything that we know around crypto regulations, everything that we know around crypto itself and the regulatory path forward, we know that it doesn't exist. There's no clarity for the space. There's no regulations at all for the space. And if we look at all of the information around Prometheum, this just seems like a big nothing company. And even when we look at what's going on with like some of the names behind this, like I've done a deep search on all of these individuals' LinkedIns. I even found Martin H. Kaplan's LinkedIn as well. They're all attorneys at almost the same law firm. And what's wild about all of this is that they are security lawyers. Like they are all, you know, security law experts, for an example, as we do see here. But what is wild about all of this is some sort of play is going on. And we even do see from Matt Walsh, he's saying, what is going on here? Bizarre that this fringe player with no biz model is being held up as an example of compliance by the SEC when the actual businesses in the United States can't get a fair shot. An SEC psyop to have the Dems oppose McHenry Thompson market structure bill? Who knows, right? But again, I think that this is all a plan for the SEC. I think that they plant things like this within this market to utilize as an example. FTX was a perfect inside job. I argued many times on this channel, Luna as well. And it does beg the question, like, what's gonna happen from here on out? What's really gonna happen from here on out? And a lot of people now are really targeting this. Eleanor Tourette finally reported on it as well. New, dovetailing the Prometheum news, something that has been overlooked. A recent report from nonpartisan research organization, Committee on Capital Markets, finds that crypto exchanges are not able to register as securities exchanges under current SEC Gov policies. Basically, you know, this is what we've been saying for so long. And it argues that Prometheum, although they got the approval, something is going on here. Some type of backdoor, you know, manipulation around this market is going on. This will most likely be utilized as an example. We already know that. And it's wild. It's wild that this is going on. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. We reported on this 2 weeks ago. And even then I said this approval is sketchy, because it is. It's probably one of those, you know, we've seen this around this market quite a bit, and Matt Walsh definitely does do a great job at explaining this. Like, this is some sort of SEC psyop that they will utilize. They will fight back against some sort of bill, or they will utilize it as an example against all other exchanges that, hey, you can come in and register. You guys just aren't doing it, which we know is not the case, because Coinbase even went public about this. Gemini went public about it. Almost every single exchange that got targeted by the SEC has, you know, come out and said that. And even Robinhood, which I know that we have a mixed feeling about Robinhood, even they came out and said, hey, we tried to register, we couldn't. So we know that it's not, you know, a company thing, that these companies are just not coming in and registering. We know that it's an SEC thing. So the fact that Prometheum got the free pass tells me that something is up here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. With that being said, I hope that you guys all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.